It is August of 1981, and this is the final heat of the Hambletonian, the first one contested at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Carl Allen heads into the stretch with Olaf leading the way, Howard Beisinger with Super One, and on the outside, Ray Remmen and SHIAWAY St. Pat.
And here comes SHIAWAY, St. Pat, and Remmen. And those three, fitting of the champions, spread across
in that
the
struggle,
Super One
as Super One gets the lead, he then faces a final stretch battle as Remmen gets SHIAWAY St. Pat up to win the 1981 Hambletonian. But how the mighty have fallen. It is now 6½ years later, and SHIAWAY St. Pat's last start was at Dover, Delaware, in a race for non-winners of $1,000 in their last 6 starts. And here is how he fared.
They're off. There goes Newport Flash out with Hot Bob Ken. Outside is SHIAWAY St. Pat third at the rail. Jade Avocado. After that, it's Lucky Fish, followed up by Harry Hamid. After that, on the outside, Reason to Be, followed by Pomp's Luck and CJ's Honor. Off stride, SHIAWAY St. Pat. Around
SHIAWAY St. Pat, from the heights to the depths. But he's back now, and with me right now is Ray Remmen, who won that 1981 Hambletonian with SHIAWAY St. Pat. And SHIAWAY St. Pat is back at the Meadowlands, not to race, I take it.
I don't think so. If we thought he could win, we'd enter him, but at this point he's just here because the Meadowlands went ahead and bought him, and they're going to just show him to the people, I think.
I think they're going to use him in their children's park, too, for kids, or be around kids. Is he gentle enough for that?
It might take a little getting used to. He's a pretty hyper fella. Yeah. Always had a real great attitude and pretty eager, but I think he'll be okay after he gets used to it.
What kind of physical condition is he in? He's 10 years old now, of course.
Looks pretty good, really. He's got his winter hair on him, but flesh-wise, he's carrying enough meat, and probably in another couple months he'll look a lot better.
Ray, in athletics, of course, they say the legs go first. Is that what goes first with racehorses, too?
Usually, his legs are real clean and cold. His problem seems to be high up behind in his rear end, and that's really where he went lame after his 3-year-old year. And to look at him physically, you can't see that much the matter with him.
Well, here he is back at the Meadowlands. Tell us a little bit about who's brushing him up and taking care of him there.
Well, this is down at Tully's Woodstock stud before they let him down to our barn.
Oh, I see. Phil Tully had
brought him up from down in Delaware, and
Phil Tully, of course, super salesman of the sport, and helped the Meadowlands acquire him and get him back.
Right here, they're just leading him over to our barn from down where he shipped into.
A few weeks ago, Ray, I had a PhD in animal behavior who is also a veterinarian on the show, and I make a habit of never arguing with PhDs. And the lady said that I asked her if she thought that animals, particularly horses, remembered people of close acquaintanceship after a period of time, and she said they did. Did SHIAWAY St. Pat remember you?
I think I remembered him a lot better than he remembered me.
So. You don't believe that that's necessarily too true?
I don't think so.
We're going to take a look right now at Mr. Remmen in the barn area with the SHIAWAY St. Pat, and you can tell us now about here. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he's really awake and alert. He never put his ears back at all. He was acted like he was happy to. Acted like he knew he was home and happy to be there.
Looks like he's ready to go.
He feels real good. I was real impressed with the way he did look. I thought maybe he'd come back not in very good shape, but he looked real good.
Put a little more groceries on him, fatten him up?
Well, I think so. He's going to have a pretty leisurely life from here on in, and he should fatten up real good.
One thing, I noticed him alert there with those ears up, and I can recall, and it's a vivid memory, when Greyhound retired, years after he was at the racetrack, they used to bring him back for annual exhibits at Sportsman's Park in Chicago, and I was calling the race at that time out there. And I watched him when that bugle blew, his ears went up, and it looked like he was then in his 20s. He looked like he was ready to race.
Well, I think this horse has the same type of attitude, and we've jogged him a couple days since he's been back, and he's really up on the muscle and would really like to do some trotting, but physically he's not capable of it anymore.
What kind of a regimen will you keep him on now from exercise point of view, Ray?
Oh, just maybe jog him every other day and, hand walk him some, and just really anything to get him looking good for the public.
I know in 1981 at the Hambletonian, about the only person that I knew around the Meadowlands or at the Hambletonian that day who thought SHIAWAY St. Pat would win was Bob Huff, who owned him then and who, of course, is not known as an underconfident man at any time. Did you expect to win the Hambletonian that year?
I felt we had a real good chance just because it maybe wasn't that tough a year, and the horse was an underdog, but I knew even like going into the race when I looked over at the tote board, which is about as good a place to look as any, and he was 7-2, I thought, we got a real good chance.
Did the weather that day, the slop, help you? Or
It sure didn't hurt. I don't know what the outcome would have been on a dry track. I think he was good enough to win anyway, but it didn't hurt us, and it probably did hurt some of the other horses.
Well, the condition of racing these days has changed an awful lot, and I know that you have had tremendous success, you and your brother Larry, who trains with you. You have a big stable now. You have trotters and pacers both?
Yeah, we have mostly pacers because that's really what you need at the Meadowlands. They don't cater too much, or the public doesn't seem to be very interested in trotters. But we have mostly pacers, and we have around 70 head.
Any Hambletonian prospects?
Not for this year. Hopefully for next year. We have a nice 2-year-old trotting colt right now.
Any Little Brown Jug prospects?
We got one of those.
Good. We'll hope to see Ray Remmen in action, and you will see him in action on the World in Harness, because there isn't a week passes when Ray Remmen isn't involved in one of the feature races in this sport. We wish you good luck. I guess you'll be leading the post parade to the Hambletonian this year with SHIAWAY St. Pat.
If I can hold him.
Be good to see you in front again with him at Hambletonian Day. Ray Remmen, one of the sport's leading trainers and drivers.